In day 183, the poet gives a piece of advice to us. So, generally, you see in this verse, it starts with Hita Karani, means for the sake of welfare of one's own self. In the sense, for our welfare, Hita Karane, he says, what is that? Hidakara, what is the piece of advice that he is giving for us, for our wellness, for our goodness, for our supremacy, for the healing of the mind which toggles between desires and ambitions, and how to win the supreme quest? Is what is answered here. It says, only the speech of truth can bring us closer, and the keen probe into the inquiry as to who I am will take us nearer. And by annihilating the mind that denies God, that says no God, put an end to that mind. He says, if we have these qualities in us, then the kingdom of heaven is open to us here and now, my dear friends. Of course, a lot of you have so much of what you call experience from the experiential world, and you say, Swamiji, whosoever have been good, what did they gain? Only they lost everything, isn't it? But understand, what comes with you is your virtue once we breathe last. The rest of the things, name and fame, money and wealth, property and power, everything is dropped here. That which accompanies us after the grave, after the burial, is our virtue and character. And that is the judgment. Based on that, we are judged there in the heaven. This society, I, I don't give much importance to that. हिता कारणे बोलने सत्य आहे हिता कारणे सर्व सोडून पाहे हिता कारणे भंडोपाखंडवारी तुटे वाद संवाद तो हितकारी. See here the last line again, he says, तुटे वाद संवाद तो हितकारी. So he's constantly talking about Thuti, break up, cut down, annihilate, shun, drop. What? Vada Samvada. Vada, you know, Samvada, you know. The dialogues. You see, again, a healthy dialogue is always good. A non-healthy one, you know, which leads to arguments, counter-arguments, defending oneself, accusing the other person, beating our own drum, saying that who is interested in that? You see, all these spiritual leaders, they never said, I have done gain. That is the best part. They say, hey, you do this, you will gain. They are more interested in our welfare, not in theirs. Never they beat their own drums, if you just observe, isn't it? Nobody. So here you should understand that when the poet is also says Sita Karane Pula. So one thing is he has achieved this with these qualities. But here he says, you do this. He says, for the sake of welfare, bolane satya aahe. Yes, for the sake of welfare of your own self, you speak the truth always. Again, there are so many things, we have something called as white lies. Or concealing the truth. You don't tell false, but you conceal the truth. That is also not accepted. Speak the truth. Always. Yes, initially you may get into some loss, some problems. They may misuse your goodness. They may, yes. But again, in the long run, I tell you, it pays. Long run. And all those who have misused you, one day or other, they come back to you. May not be in a physical form. Wherever they are, they'll think of you. In case if they have misused you. Definite. At least if not in this birth, in next birth. You see, in this world, everything has to be repaid. Nothing we can keep it to ourselves. That you understand. Everything, every thought that is generated has to be experienced. Therefore, escort the thoughts, you say. हिताकारणे सर्वसोढूनि पाहे. Just for your welfare, Hitakarane, Sudunu, you start searching all, means all the places and all the manners, all the ways and all the times to seek, to see that pure consciousness. That keen search alone takes us higher, my dear friends. You might appreciate a Krishna, a Buddha, a Christ, and a Muhammad, a Guru Nanak, or a Fakir, whatever it is. If you keep on looking at their photo, gazing at it, nothing is going to happen, my dear friends. Internalize those qualities, imbibe those values. Only then transformation happens. So here that is what he means by that quest. So to need the search. We have to search for our own self, in our own self, for our own upliftment, to realize our own true self. That is it. Hitakarane Bandapakhandavari, for the welfare of your own sake. Just drop atheism, falsehood, non believing in God. So many of us have that. I can do. Understand? Even for us to say, I can, there is some force which is not in our hands, which is making say that. What is that force? Understand, my dear friends, that nothing is in our hands, everything is in his hands. Therefore, just surrender. To speak that I made, I built, I discovered, I invented, if that spark is not inside, Nothing is possible. Who gave that spark is the question. So he says that spark is divine, that spark we call it as God, that spark we call it as Chaitanya, whatever it is, have devotion of the highest to that and deny non-godhood. Because a lot of people they say there is no God. Show me. It's not possible. Everything cannot be seen because all our sensory perceptions have a limitation, have a frequency and bandwidth. Below that, it is not possible. Above that, it is not possible. And this Godhead is the smallest of the small and the biggest of the big, isn't it? To understand that, even we should be so subtle, or else it is not. And finally, he says, Tute vada samvada to hi rakali. So, break up unwanted arguments and dialects and stay conducive to the welfare of the self and others. 90% of us, we get into problem only because of our speech, my dear friends. If mouth is controlled, I tell you, you have conquered everything. As you know, mouth has two functionalities. One is eating, other one is talking. If we have moderation in these both, in eating and in talking, I tell you, you have conquered yourself. There's no justification, my dear friends. You eat someday and then you say you justify. No, no. It is a party. Today is this, that. They will feel bad. No, not accepted. So step out in this conscious state of awareness and follow these for the self upliftment till we meet next. Thanks for being with.